Hey guys, welcome back to a what the fuck is this show? When we start doing Game of Thrones? This is new.
It's been a while.
Yeah, this is Westerospective, the video version.
What?
Whoa. Westerospective in 4 dimensions. Whoa. So yeah, we've done a couple changes to the format. Obviously, we've gone more vodcast focused, so all these from here on out will be on video. I'm sorry.
We apologize now.
And also, we are going to be, I swear to God, we have gotten the podcast under control, kinda. We are going to be keeping these 35 minutes at the max. So we are not going to be fucking around. We're going to be a little bit more balls to the wall than we have been in the past, because we kept saying for months, like, we're going to make it 35 minutes, and like every time it's almost an hour.
Yeah, it'd be like 45, 50 minutes.
Let's get going. We are continuing where we left off. Season 2, this is episode 6. This is The Old Gods and the New. Okay. Episode opens up. Theon being a dick before he has no dick. Next scene.
My actual note is just, God damn it, and nothing else.
Damn it. Okay, here's the thing, is what I find interesting about this is how everyone is acting so nonchalant as he's attacking Winterfell. They're just like, God damn it, Theon. Like, what are you doing? Okay, this is the last time I'm talking about this, because I know this was a theme ever since we started this. Every episode we bitch about how Bran was a better actor as a kid than a teenager, which is a fact. Yeah. This episode again, this is the last time I'm talking about it, but again, he is so much better in this episode than he is now. Last time I'm saying it, I don't know what the fuck happened. He's an enigma, but I just want to put it out there.
Yeah. And we also had a rare Rickon appearance in this episode for half a second.
Yeah. Unfortunately, fucker never did learn the Serpentine. It's
The Reckoning.
The Reckoning. Okay. So
foreshadowing.
Theon has taken over Winterfell, and Sir Roderick spits in his face. So, one of the Iron Islands guys basically says, you have to kill him, or, they already don't really respect you, but they sure as shit will never if you don't kill him. And then he has, the most, painful to listen to execution ever, because it's kind of interesting, because when he does the Stark thing of attempting the execution, whoever sends out the sentence must swing the sword, it's like back in the pilot, like that whole Stark thing. You kind of tell, it's like, not only is he just, kind of weak-willed, but he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't kill him in one swing. It takes 2 or 3. He's slowly breaking as he's killing him.
Most awkward execution ever.
And then, it's brutal. When he has to,
dude,
when
he kicks his head off.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Yeah. But yeah, Bran's whole reaction is genuine acting. He is actually freaking out. Cut ahead 4 seasons later. Oh, is that Hodor dying? That sucks.
I know. I don't get it. He just checked out, dude. He just checked out.
I want that gig where I get paid, a lot of money to not try anymore after the age of 14. Give me that career. Just seriously.
Yeah. It was interesting because he's gone long enough that they could have recast him. You never really would have noticed.
They've recast. What's weird is the 2 kids that needed recasting the most were Bran, just because he eventually fuck acting. Yeah. I'm only acting in a show that's the most popular show on TV. Why should I try? And Rickon, because the infamous Serpentine or lack thereof scene makes so much more sense if the kid acting in that role actually looks like he's 8 instead of 25, But if you look, they've recasted 3/4 the Lannister kids.
Yeah. They recast them. They recast the Mountain. They recast Fabio. I can never remember the character's name, but first time you see him is Fabio. Next time he's
the dude that likes Dario Naharis.
Yes, Dario. Yeah. They recast him. That one was blatant because he's a completely different everything.
It's just so weird.
He's just the same gender. That's the only thing he has in common.
It's just so weird because the 2 that needed the most, they neglected. It's just so weird to me. I mean, it doesn't it's just one of those things where it's this show is so fucking fantastic from start to now, and then it will be probably till the end, that when they have flaws, they're glaring because everything else is so good. But yeah. I didn't fully appreciate how good the writing was in this episode until revisiting it just now, because there's a lot of really cool symbolism between execution scenes and the Stark kids. I mean, if you want to consider Theon like one of the Stark kids, which he kind of is.
Yeah.
The next scene they go to. Did you have anything else to add with the opening, by the way?
Nope, not with the opening.
All right. The next scene, it's Corrin Halfhand and Jon and the other red shirt rangers that are, they're just in Game of Thrones. If you talk, you're more than likely gonna die. If you're a member of the Night's Watch and you don't talk, you are sure as shit gonna die.
Like, pretty much.
Your days are fucking numbered. This is mostly just giving a lot of backstory to. There's a lot of cool dialogue between Halfhand and Jon. Basically, Jon's talking about how Sean Bean's character, his dad was basically talking him up, and he's just like, dude, you don't. And Halfhand's like, dude, you don't know shit. Like, you think you're of the North. The North is outside the wall. It's not, Winterfell and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, any confidence that Jon has built up to this point, he just kind of shatters.
Which is smart too.
Yes.
Because he needs to wake the fuck up, or he will end up like.
Yeah, because at this point, he's still like, I'm Jon fucking Snow, and I am Eddard Stark's son. Blah blah blah. So he still isn't in the right. It's interesting going back for Jon Snow because he's such a different person, especially now, compared to earlier. But yeah. He's a completely different character.
Dying will do that to you. No, but the conversation I really like is when Snow's doing his whole man of the Night's Watch, I'll die with honor or whatever, and then Halfhand's just like, I don't want you to say that. I want you to die screaming and clawing,
cursing and screaming or something like that. Cursing and fighting or something, yeah.
But yeah. If it wasn't for Halfhand, Snow would be dead because he ends up saving him by getting him kind of, getting him from some wildling street cred later on. Let's see. The next scene I'd forgotten about the scene, but it's pretty fantastic. They go back to Tywin at like his little round table where they're strategizing and everything. And I named this scene.
This would have been me if I was a general back then.
I named this scene on my notes the medieval typo because it's so fucking funny. I don't know how I've forgotten the scene, but when he breaks down to his one of his second in command type dudes, like the colossal mistake he made by fucking up the houses. When he brings out the fucking book, and then Arya, at this point, runs over, gets the book, so he knows she can read. He's just like, my cup holder can read better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love the scene when he pulls out the book and he's just like, who does he serve? House Stark of Winterfell, the enemy. You just fucking emailed our fucking instructions. I love Tywin so much.
Dude. Charles Dance is so intimidating, and he is so good at fucking talking down to people.
I could just watch him yell at people all day long and never get bored.
Oh, I know. It was amazing. And then Arya trying to blow her fucking cover. If you're gonna play the role of the common girl, then you don't know how to fucking read, and you don't recognize certain books when you see them.
Yeah. In her defense, she is 8 or whatever at this stage, like meant to be.
God damn it, Geoff. Yeah. But no, dude, that whole scene is fantastic. I completely forgot it existed as well.
But the scene leads on to where Baelish walks in, and obviously Baelish would recognize Arya. This episode has like 3 or 4 scenes which are written and directed to be intense as fuck. Like it's pretty effective. Like the look on Maisie Williams' face when Baelish walks in, and she's like,
she basically looks like she was just handed a death sentence.
Basically, yeah.
This is the way she looks, yeah.
And it's really intense. She's walking around. She's trying to like casually do her job of removing the dishes while also not providing a look at her face, and then she ends up fucking up by pouring wine on him. I can't remember if he actually noticed her at this stage or not. I'm assuming that he did, but
I just love how Baelish is like, because back then your mannerisms and everything mean a lot also. So with a figure like Tywin or whatever, you address directly or it's disrespectful or any of that. So he's trying to steal glances, and then he has to go right back to Tywin. Otherwise, he's dishonoring his host.
Do you remember? Does he recognize her at this stage and then just play it off or not? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I feel like he does, but I don't really remember.
Because that'd be a Baelish thing to do. Wait until it better serves him.
Yeah.
To reveal her.
But I mean, yeah, if there was anyone in the room that was for sure going to recognize her, that was like the worst case scenario for Arya.
Yep. All right. We go back to Jon, Halfhand, and the Red Shirts, and which I'm going to refer to them until they are dead. Sorry, Red Shirt guys. We get introduced to one of my favorite fucking characters, Ygritte. I love Ygritte so much.
Yeah.
And I it was funny. I didn't fully understand until watching this episode why Jon Snow is so high up on my favorite character list, because I also fuck up by falling for crazy ass women who he also has a weakness for redheads. I feel him on that part. Yeah. But this is what I was talking about earlier. He ends up getting to the point where he's about to kill her. They even put her on kind of the chopping block.
Yes.
He had, which by the way, Longclaw is one of my favorite swords in fiction. Like,
I love that sword, yeah.
The etching down the middle of the blade is super detailed and really fucking cool. But that was just me geeking out for a second. I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, he has her on the chopping block. He should execute her. He has no reason to keep her alive. Yet, in the exact same position that Theon was, Jon shows more compassion for a wildling than Theon does his own dudes that he grew up around.
Yeah.
And it shows you, it's like so many points in this show, you get to a fork in the road, you go one way, decides your character this direction, maybe ends up with your dick cut off. I don't know. And you go the opposite direction. It's like, think of how different the show is if he kills Ygritte. He's probably dead at one point because she is his main reasoning for staying alive outside of killing Halfhand in front of them. Yes. She is the whole time talking up Snow that he's one of us. So if he kills her, Snow is probably dead by the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I just found that really interesting. I didn't fully pick up on the parallels between the Stark kids in this episode until revisiting it, or if I did, it's been so long ago.
It went way over my head the first probably a couple times.
Very well written though. It's very subtle because
it's very well done. Yeah.
The editing is really, really good too, because they space out the stuff with Robb, the stuff with Snow, and the stuff with Theon. It's not all back to back to make it glaring. You have to actually be really paying attention. So it was.
And not only that, the ones that they picked, Theon is by, I guess, just by growing up in that household, you could kind of quote unquote say he's one of the Stark kids, right? And then you have the bastard. They're more or less in the same standing because one's a bastard. So, and they have kind of the same parallel story happening like you were talking about, but it shows completely different paths. So, no, it's very well done. I was looking up earlier before we started this. Did you know this episode has a 9.0 on IMDb?
I did notice that because I had to look up the name of the episode on IMDb.
This was not Hard Home. And this episode has a 9.
Yeah, people picked up on how well it was written and paced out.
It's a very strong episode. Yeah.
Let's see. The next scene they show is where Marcella, or I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm probably fucking Marcella, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Chicken Marcella.
She's being sent off to, is it Dorne? Is that where they shipped her off? Okay, she's being sent off to Dorne, and it is a scene of Cersei and Tyrion on kind of like the end of the bay, watching her, go away in the boat, and I hadn't really thought of it until rewatching it again. But that is the last time she sees her daughter, isn't it? Because she doesn't make it back because she's over in
It's the
Dorne
last time she sees her alive.
time. Yeah, and then they had the other thing too. I want to point out about this episode, in addition to all of the parallels between the Stark kids, the dramatic irony throughout the episode of the writer knowing what's going to happen in future seasons because they obviously were familiar with the book is very strong because they put characters in situations where they pop up after I'll get into more detail once we get to the scenes because I made a note of them. But Cersei says to Tyrion, when you close your eyes, I hope you see her face. She's basically referring to, I hope you love someone enough that basically when I take them away from you, you will feel what I feel right now. And the dramatic irony is she doesn't do it. Tyrion himself does it. He kills Shay.
Yeah.
And he will still see her every time he closes his eyes for the rest of his life. But it's just one of those things where it is like the level of dramatic irony is just kind of stunning to me throughout this episode.
And the other thing that's kind of ironic is Cersei is talking about Checa Marsala like she is dead. She's not dead at the moment. You know, we know that she will be, but she's already talking like she's dead just because she's being shipped off to Dorne.
And maybe because she at this stage, still in the back of her mind, believes in her prophecy. You know, like all of your children will end up dead in the gold cloaks or I forget what the prophecy. But yeah, that she had that happen to her as a kid. So it's interesting to think of it from that angle too. Now, here's the thing. I fucking love everything that happens in the next like 10 minutes with Tyrion. So Joffrey's being Joffrey, being a motherfucker, walking to the townspeople who are starving to death.
My wife made a note of what a dick Joffrey was when Sansa and him were standing at the end of the bay talking, and I just had to comment. I was like, that actor is so amazing because you love to hate him.
So good.
He plays that part so good that I would probably deck him if I met him in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can never like walk around in public ever again. So Joffrey starts up a shitstorm. See what I did there? But my favorite reaction.
Thank you and good night.
Good night. My favorite reaction is once I was about to say once the shit starts going down. I'm a one-trick pony. I apologize. I will.
God, Geoff, get your shit together.
Okay, seriously, straight face, game face. Okay.
Lion face, lemon face.
Once everything starts going down, Tyrion's first response, get Tommen out of here, because he's my flesh and blood who I actually don't fucking hate with a passion. Right. His second reaction is Sansa. Way down the fucking totem pole is Joffrey. He could not care less if Joffrey gets stabbed in the fucking town right then and there. He does not care.
Yeah.
It's awesome, subtle character development for him. And like that's his own flesh and blood. He cares more about fucking about Sansa, about saving Sansa than he does
Who's
about
the enemy.
Yeah. He just goes and says but so they all get broken apart in the fray. Sansa ends up getting isolated in it. They don't know where she's at. And then you have one of probably the all-time best scenes of the show is Tyrion and Joffrey. And then I just love the exchanges where he's just like, we've had vicious kings, we've had idiot kings, but I don't know if we've ever been graced with a vicious idiot for a king.
I loved also, no, I struck a king. Did my hand fall from my wrist?
They're acting together so good in that scene.
Oh, so good.
So great. But yeah, that is to me one of my favorite scenes ever is him just slapping the shit out of him. It's like And then
also the enormous assholery of the dude that is captain of like the King's Guard.
Oh,
I take my orders from the king. You're just going to throw what is probably in the book, I'm going to guess, like 14, 15-year-old girl to the wolves?
No, probably younger than that. Probably more like 12 or 13.
12 or 13?
I believe it was Meryn Trant. Is that? I want to say that's his name that Arya ends up killing. Yeah, He's a colossal tool. He won't send anyone to help Sansa. If it wasn't for the Hound, she'd be dead.
He doesn't even have to go himself. He can send one of his guards.
But he's such a fucking prick that, the disemboweling special effect of this episode is fucking mind-numbing. Like, oh dear God.
My stomach hurt after watching this.
Their cinematographer for this episode was amazing because all the camera angles of the scene are shot from a downward angle to simulate from Sansa's point of view, and then you just hear the sickening crunch of his fucking insides being ripped open, and then they all plop between his legs.
What's brilliant about the cinematography in this episode, I was glad you brought it up because it was something I made a note of. The cinematography in this episode is geniusly done, and because it's so subtle. In most movies or TV shows, as soon as you see the scene open, you can tell kind of what's going to happen by the angle you're looking at and everything. You don't know the purpose behind the cinematography until the thing happens. You know, like the disemboweling, for instance. So
are you just gonna edit this part out?
I'm just gonna edit it out.
Okay.
So, anyways, now that we're back,
technical difficulties. Sorry. Blame Skype.
Oh God, fuck you, Microsoft. So, I'm glad you brought the cinematography because the note that I had was about just how subtle. Sorry, I was looking over to make sure that we were still recording. It's how subtle everything is done, right? Most of the time in a movie or TV show or even video games, sometimes the camera angle kind of gives away hints of what you're kind of expecting in a scene. But there's shit like the upwards angle you mentioned, because, you're looking from Sansa's perspective. So, of course, you expect the upwards angle. You don't expect dead center of the screen just entrails to plop out. You know what I mean? Like, everything that they did was so geniusly set up because of how subtle it was. You didn't really catch on to what they were doing in anything until they wanted you to.
I like about how the one guy just says, fuck it, and makes the business decision to run, and then he just catches him by the neck.
And lifts him.
I love the Hound so much. He's so
fun. The Hound
awesome.
is amazing.
And then it's cool too is, he goes back after he saved her and drops her off next to Tyrion, and Tyrion, just tells her, he's like, I think he tells him, well done, Clegane. And he's just like, I didn't do it for you.
Yeah, and then he's the only one that real talks like at all, because he said a little bird is injured, someone take her back to her cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he knows exactly, like everyone knows exactly what's going on. He's the only one that just talks about it openly.
Yep. Fucking love the Hound so much.
I cannot wait to get back to the walking tall scene.
I know, it's so good. Okay, next up we go to Khaleesi and Daxos and Karth. She's basically trying to round up ships, and they're all, kind of telling her to fuck off because at this... she goes and talks to the Spice King, I believe is what they call him in the scene. He's one of the few kings of Karth. I don't know how many of them there are. They only ever talk about the Copper King.
It's appropriate name because he's pretty damn salty.
We're on a roll with the puns today. Yeah, he makes some good points. Like, she talks about, I want to go and retake the Iron Throne. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Have you ever had it before? When's the last time you were actually there? Oh, I was. It's just like you have no army. Oh, you don't have an army. He's like, he's making good points, but
at the same time, not only is he being as condescending as he can possibly fucking be, the points that he's making are like intentionally annoying. Like, he knows full well what she means by retaking the throne. You know what I mean? And
yeah, he's being he's picking out semantics just to be an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's doing it to the wrong bitch. I'm just telling him that much. Yeah, I do like his quote though. She has a talent for drama. This one. It's like, you have no idea.
No idea.
There wasn't really much else to add with that scene. Are you good on that one?
No, I'm good on that one.
We go back to Arya and Tywin, and this is basically them doing a little bit more backstory, where the viewer knows that Arya's talking about Ned, but obviously Tywin doesn't know. So they're kind of talking. She's not giving away the details of who she is, but she is being truthful about like my dad died because he was loyal and stuff like that. He talks a little bit about his dad. I didn't really have any more specific notes on this one. Did you have any notes with the scene?
Only that it's like, come on. Probably one of the smartest guys in the show is Tywin. You can lie a little bit better, Arya.
It's just the thing. Where is the last place you would look? Right in front of your face.
Yeah, the person pouring your wine. Yeah.
There's never in a million years would like.
One thing, and this is probably just me reading too deep into it because you can easily do this with Game of Thrones and any of their lore or myths, but I always found it interesting that she went with stonemason. Does that have anything to do with the wall?
No, I think that's just her BSing on the spot.
You think so? I've always just wondered, since they're kind of in charge of the wall in Castle Black also.
Yeah, you could take it that
stonemason.
You could take it that way. I don't think it was intentionally, but it just shows you how good the show is when you can overthink it, even accidentally.
Yeah.
And you can still make connections like that. You never know.
I always thought it was interesting that she picked stonemason.
So she's picking out. Is it like battle plans that she snatches up, or info that they had on Rob? She finds something. I didn't get a chance to read the note.
It was like where Rob is going to be or something like that.
Yeah, it's something hurtful to the Stark side of the war. Basically, she snatches up the scroll before it's able to get mailed out.
And dude's not going to send it again to the Starks. So
yeah, she gets stopped by Mr. Typo on her way out, and then Mr. Typo is about to go, turn her in, and then she goes and finds my boy Jockin and takes care of business. And I fucking love the scene. More genius fucking cinematography is when Mr. Typo walks into the room and then just fucking face plants as he's been killed as he's entering the room.
It's just long enough that if it's your first time watching the show, you think the dude failed, right? Like he's alive, or he probably never was alive, but it's just long enough when the door opens before he falls that you're like, ah, Jockin fucked it up.
Fucking love that scene so much.
Also, I love the Jockin actor, because when she's like, no, it has to be now, and she's like screaming at the look on his face before he walks away.
He's just like, really? You're talking to me this way? Like, yeah. I love him so much. So happy. So happy they didn't recast him. Like, the easiest character to recast would be the guy who changes his fucking face. I'm so happy they kept him because he was fucking fantastic in that role. Anything else with the Jockin stuff?
Nope.
Next scene is Rob meeting back up with Talisa. I think this is the second time, maybe third, but for sure at least the second or third time he's talked to her. I want to say it's the first time after the amputation scene, right?
Yep.
On the battlefield.
Yeah, and he has to go and make it awkward.
Yep. Here's like more of the dramatic irony. Did your heart just kind of sink into your stomach when Kat walks up and is introduced and it's the three of them together? Because like when you think about it, with what ends up happening to them, how many generations of Starks get taken out in one moment? It's just devastating. Yeah. But
yeah,
the dramatic irony though is obviously he likes her. Talisa leaves, and she's being a mom and calling him out on it. Like now Rob, a debt that must be paid. They have this whole spiel. Who is the first motherfucker that walks up to the conversation to break up that conversation? It's Roose.
Yes. No, there's a lot going on in that scene, because I want to say that like it cuts to Talisa, and then there's Rob, and then there's Kat, and that's the order they die in. Like, there's a lot in that scene that you can break down, dude.
It's kind of diabolical, and I don't appreciate it. I'd say that I love it, but I don't appreciate it at the same time because it just hits you like right in the feels.
Dude, Kat, her facial expression when she walks up, her facial expression when Talisa's walking away, right? Can't be more opposite than the facial expressions they keep cutting back to during the Red Wedding. Like they're going out of their way to mirror shit, dude.
Yeah, and then just like with Roose walking up and breaking up the conversation, it just the goddamn Boltons.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. After that scene, we go back to Snow and Ygritte. I fucking love Ygritte so much. This is the scene, where she's just totally trolling him the whole time. Like with the whole we're gonna freeze to death if we don't huddle together for warmth, and she is just fucking trolling him, and she is enjoying herself, and I love Ygritte so much. I cannot stress that enough. She's awesome.
The look on her face, the last thing you see is just that like grin
that
she has,
shit-eating grin,
smirk.
Yeah. Ygritte's so cool. Now they cut back to the Starks when Robb and Kat find out what's happened at Winterfell.
We get our first mention of Ramsay here.
But before that, Roose saying because the Greyjoys are treacherous. What does he say? Treacherous whores, I think. I'm just like, oh, I want to strangle you so fucking bad.
Takes one to know one, Roose.
And yeah, this is when you first get your first reference of Ramsay, and God, did we not have but any idea what we were in for?
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's fucking brutal.
It's gonna be crazy. And what I found kind of ironic, not to move along if you're not done, but the next thing we cut back to is Theon after mentioning Ramsay.
Wait, we can go on. I didn't have any more notes for it.
Okay, I didn't have any more for that either, but I just wanted to point out that we're talking about Ramsay, and then we see Theon. Just like, this show.
Theon making decisions based off what's between his legs for the moment.
While he still can.
Oh, Theon. So this is the scene where it's Osha, right? That's her name.
Yeah. I believe so.
She's making a play to basically have a chance of getting them all out.
Yeah.
Because her banging Theon is what gets her freedom, temporarily to be able to have a shot at getting them what they think is outside of the castle, but she ends up just hiding them in the tombs, right?
I believe so.
It's kind of interesting. I actually realized this parallel too between all of the Stark kids. Arya is hiding in plain sight, and so are Bran and Rickon. They're hiding in plain sight within Winterfell. It's like so much symbolism between, which I believe was probably George R.R. Martin, assuming this is all translated, like brilliantly symbolized between all of the parallels. Awesome stuff. I love subtlety in the writing like that. Let's see. What's the scene after that they go to? Is it Sansa and Shay? It looks like.
Yes, Sansa and Shay.
More goddamn dramatic irony. Sansa is openly talking about how much she hates Joffrey to Shay. Shay talks to her, is like, you need to be careful what you're saying in front of, what if the wrong person heard, but you're not the wrong people. Don't trust anybody.
Anyone, yes.
You're better off that way. I was just like, oh, Game of Thrones writers. The Game of Thrones writers, you don't understand how good they are until you watch it a second time.
Yeah.
Because this is honest to God, like, it's hard sometimes to adapt stuff, but sometimes you have like a real edge for rewatches because you can proactively plan shit ahead of time, like they're doing right in front of us right now. Yeah, that was just, I want to strangle so many people in this episode. They cut. Did you have anything else for that scene?
Nope.
Okay, they cut back. Basically, Osha is being a badass. Fucking John Wicks this guy with a knife, like, right across the neck, and a really, really well shot scene.
Yeah, and terrible sound effects.
Terribly awesome sound effects.
I want the Osha actress in more stuff.
She's very good.
The way that she moved, like, out of bed, the way that she moved, like when she was brandishing the knife and everything, like, I want her in more stuff. Like,
you know what she should be? She should be a Lycan in an Underworld. I think that'd be a really cool role for her.
That'd be a really good role for her. And it fits with her past stuff, because in Harry Potter, she's like one of the shape-shifting people.
She's in Harry Potter? Which Harry Potter movie was she in?
A few here and there. She's not a major character. She's the one. The one I always remember is the scene that she's sitting with Emma Watson and she has the pig snout.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen Harry Potter. I didn't even realize she was in it.
Yep. Yeah, I've unfortunately seen those movies way too many times because my wife's a pothead. So.
Yep. I don't think they're bad, but they're not my favorite either.
No.
So they go back and finish off the. I believe after that it's just Khaleesi, right, for the rest of the episode. Khaleesi goes back. She's basically talking with Daxos about how all of the kings in Karth have been complete pricks to her. One of them even offers her a single ship if she will lie with him for the night. And it's just like, you sons of bitches, you have no fucking clue.
Talk about underestimating your foe.
So yeah, she ends up walking through Karth. She starts finding all of her Dothraki bros have been mercilessly slaughtered, like literally all of them, except for her handmaiden ends up being one of the people who betrayed her, right? She's like the one who's gone and not been killed.
Not the one that was on the ground. I don't.
No. But the other one who's missing is the one that betrayed her, right? Yeah. And basically, the episode ends with the warlock guy.
He's the dude that did it, right? Because the last thing,
yeah.
And the last thing that he says is, he has no regrets about anything he's done, and opens the door, and you see them all lying there.
He's just like laying out, I am not to be trusted. Oh, by the way, I'm not to be trusted. Let's go walk through the Garden of Betrayal again. By the way, I am not to be trusted. Yeah. Fucking
He's just gonna betray you.
People just like South Park ain't fucking around. Like people just straight up tell you how they're gonna fuck you over, but you don't realize it until it's too late. Yeah, and then Charizard and the other little baby dragons have been Charizard napped.
So. What I've dubbed the Seekers,
or Charmander napped. Yeah, he's not Charizard yet. That is an important distinction.
He has yet to evolve.
Yeah, and I can't wait to watch more Khaleesi stuff because here on out, like for the next couple of seasons, it is just like Khaleesi badassery nonstop. Like, was there anything else that we missed throughout the episode that you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. I'm sure we missed all kinds of things, but I don't have anything else in my notes.
That's the important thing, because I want to finish this roughly around the time that I promised we would. So we are going to go ahead and start signing off. If you would like to check us out more, please like and subscribe. That gets you all of our content. In addition to, we're hoping to do this now back on schedule, right? Westerospective once a week?
Yes.
Okay. So be on the lookout for these. These will be coming up roughly every Thursday-ish. These are going to continue for the most part up until the newest season, when we'll be obviously.
I thought we did Game of Thrones every Sunday.
Oh, are we not putting it up on we're putting it on Sunday nights?
I thought it was either Sunday or Monday, because we would watch them on Sunday and then.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so are we keeping Westerospective on the ToNight's watch schedule then?
Yep.
Okay, so
that's what I thought. Because Thursday is our news.
Whenever you're watching this, you will know what day you watched it on. I would hope so. We have social media links for Facebook and Twitter in the link below. And if you know anyone else that might also enjoy our content, we would greatly appreciate the share. For this night and all the nights to come, I'm Geoff.
I'm Ron. I know this watch has ended poorly.
Bye, guys. I made another shit joke.